Exogenous systems are cool if necessary, but don't build your peace around exogenous systems. Let's go from the inside out. All right.
Welcome to Impact and Fulfillment with Coach Mike D, where you'll gain practical wisdom and dynamic insight from amazing conversations to live your best life.
What's going on, y'all? This is Coach Mike D with another episode of Impact and Fulfillment. Hope y'all are well. Hope you're having an amazing day. I hope you've enjoyed yourself, right? And if you've not enjoyed yourself today, do something that you enjoy. Life is way too short to not enjoy yourself. Seriously. Life is way too short not to enjoy yourself. But today's quick episode, I'm going to throw out two terms and I want you to think about it. Exogenous and endogenous. Exogenous and endogenous. So exogenous simply means it originates from the outside. Okay, exogenous. Endogenous simply means that it originates from the inside. So in the realm of like healthcare and wellness and medicine, you hear terminology like exogenous testosterone or exogenous, different substances that people take, right? So basically anything that's exogenous is something that you take from the outside, right? Something that's endogenous is something that comes from the inside. So again, in the world of medicine, you'll hear people taking substances, taking supplements, taking various hormones, taking, things like testosterone and, things like that, right? That's all exogenous. And the reason I'm pointing out the term exogenous and the term endogenous is because I want you to think about it through the lens of things that you take, but then we're going to translate it into how you live your life. So, if you are a person in the gym and, you've connected with various individuals who are into taking, performance enhancing substances, right? HGH and testosterone and all this kind of stuff, right? If you've been around it and you've had conversations with individuals who have cycled on and off of, various, steroids and testosterone treatments, it's interesting when you talk to them, not necessarily those that are going on therapy for like low testosterone, but those that are doing so for purposes of the gym, bodybuilding or getting bigger or getting stronger. It's interesting when you get them to open up and talk to you about it, because those that have gone through a lot of cycles or have cycled for a long time with testosterone, it then becomes a challenge for their body to make testosterone again. Hear that again. Those that have gone through really long cycles of testosterone or have been on it for a long time, steroids for a very long period of time, their body then has issues making that testosterone all over again because it's so used to all this external or exogenous testosterone coming in. Now, all of a sudden, your body gets acclimated to this exogenous or outside testosterone. Your body then shuts off production of testosterone inside your own body. It's interesting, right? I'll use another example, not just from the standpoint of substances, but exogenous, something coming from the outside. When I played high school football, I used to get my ankles taped. I started getting my ankles taped when I was playing varsity. So my 10th grade year, I started getting my ankles taped before every practice and before every game. Prior to that, I never got my ankles taped. All through elementary school, middle school, and when I played JV as a freshman, I did not get my ankles taped. The moment I started playing varsity, I started getting my ankles taped. One of the things that was interesting, I had a game my senior year in high school, and for some crazy whacked out reason, I decided to not get my ankles taped. Because at times I felt like I was very restricted, especially if the wrong person was taping my ankles. It felt like I was wearing a cast, right? And it took a while for your, things to loosen up so you could actually move really well. But this one game, I decided to not get my ankles taped. Everything was cool. I felt loose. I felt like I was about to, rush for 200 yards, right? Third play of the game, I got hit and I messed around and tore my ankle up. What I came to realize was that for so long, me getting my ankles taped, the moment that I no longer got my ankles taped, my ankles were no longer used to supporting themselves. My ankles had gotten accustomed to having an exogenous process or some type of outside material helping to bring support to my ankles. Therefore, I no longer had to build the strength in my tendons and my ligaments and the muscles all around to support my ankles because they had outside support. But the problem was, once that outside support was removed, I was vulnerable. Exogenous from the outside versus endogenous from the inside. The issue that I had going forward after that was every time I played basketball, I had to wear ankle braces because my ankles were so weak. I used to twist them literally every time I did lateral movement, from that point forward. And so I went through a process of really strengthening the ligaments in my ankles and doing a lot of, barefoot running and all of that stuff, which helped to strengthen, my ankles. And I really was conscious about building that back up so that I had the strength from the inside and I no longer was needing outside support for normal functions. So I wanted to build up my endogenous systems or the inside systems, right? So the reason I'm using these two terms and the reason I gave these two examples is I want you to kind of get a framework, but now I want you to think about it through the lens of life. So this podcast is called Impact and Fulfillment, right? It's all about you maximizing the impact that you have on the world, on society, on your families, on your community. But it's also about you generating maximum fulfillment in the life that you're living. And the thing that I want you to focus on is looking at your life and starting to think about what systems do you have in place that are exogenous, meaning that are coming from the outside, that are required or that you have built into being a requirement for you to maintain peace, your sanity, your, being able to operate and live daily. Are you totally reliant upon outside forces for that? Or have you built a framework internally where if those outside sources or outside forces were unavailable, you could still maintain? So it's interesting because, we just dealt with the pandemic, right? So many of us built our peace around activities that we could do, right? Going to various functions, sometimes going physically to church, being around certain groups of people. That's where we derive some of our peace, right? That's where we derived our, our sense of belonging, our sense of comfort, right? When I was going through something, I had to get to this place, and this place helped me. But we went through the pandemic. And what happened when that place was snatched away from you? What happened when you no longer could go to church for almost a 2-year period physically? What happened when that club that you went to every week or that place that you had access to whenever you needed it, when you were going through a problem or a challenge or a circumstance, what happened when those doors closed due to the pandemic? It was kind of like I gave you the example of my ankles and the ankle brace. right? It was fine when the brace was available, but the moment that brace was not available, I was vulnerable. And so it came to me to think about building up from the inside out. It's not about exogenous substances, forces, and solutions. It's about endogenous forces and solutions. We have to find ways to derive peace from the inside out. We have to derive, our well-being from the inside out, because if we base it on different people, even people that we love and trust, if I build my peace into someone else, even some of the people who are closest to me, what happens when those people are not available in the moment? Then I'm out of peace. So we have to work on this process of building endogenous systems. We have to find ways to pray and meditate, or we have to find ways to move and exercise when we don't have equipment available, when we can't get to the gym, when we can't get to the golf course, when we can't get to our motorcycle or our set of golf clubs, or we can't get to our favorite, therapist because they're booked up, or maybe they're on vacation, right? When I can't get to them, or I can't get to this activity, what happens? See, we have to think about that. Some of us have also built in exogenous systems around substances, right? When I am frustrated, not me, but for some of us, when we're frustrated, we know we need to go have a drink to calm down. Or we know we need to go take a hit of something to calm down. Or we know we need to go, smoke this or snort this or take this, whatever it is. We build our peace around these exogenous systems. But during the pandemic, we also had supply chain issues. So therefore, some of the things that you were used to getting very quickly were stuck out on in the middle of the ocean somewhere, or were held up in customs, or weren't able to get produced. So what happens then? You see what I'm saying? Again, exogenous, outside in, endogenous, inside out. We have to find endogenous solutions. And we have to understand that if we have the vital things of our life, the vital functions of our life, based on stuff that's outside of us, we're putting ourselves in a vulnerable position. Now, we need relationships, right? We're here on life to interact with people, to love people, to connect with people, to build with people, right? We need relationships, but we also need to build from the inside out and realize, even with relationships, my peace is not rooted in my relationship with another person. Yeah, that's hard. My peace is not rooted in, access to another thing. That's hard. To an activity, going to the gym. You know what I'm saying? It's not rooted in that. And if I take an inventory of myself, and I'm asking you to do the same, if you take an inventory of yourself and you come to realize that your peace is rooted in something outside of your body that's tangible here on earth, you need to reevaluate that and start to create a solution that's inside out, in which if you don't have access to that thing, you can still get your peace. Now, from a spiritual perspective, look, I'm a man of faith, right? For me, it all starts with a relationship with God, like understanding that God is always with me. He's not leaving. And I have a personal relationship there. So that's through prayer. But then it's also through meditation and being able to be still and learning breathing techniques, learning how to relax and get myself calmed down. And I don't need anybody to do that, right? If I'm in a position in which I'm able to physically move, you know what? I can always do some movement no matter where I am. I don't need equipment for that. Sometimes I can just go to sleep, right? Sleep is the great reset, right? But either way, I have to find things. I have had to find things to work for me. You have to do the same. So again, Exogenous systems are cool if necessary, but don't build your peace around exogenous systems. Let's go from the inside out. All right. And this is all geared towards helping you to maximize impact and fulfillment in your life. Because when you do that, the world benefits. Hey, as always, y'all be blessed, well, and wise. Follow Coach Mike D on all social media platforms. And until next time, I'll holla at you. Peace.
I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and follow Coach Mike D everywhere on social media. Y'all be blessed, well, and wise.